Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances, all the Shishra Prabhupada. Welcome devotees to our morning Bhagavatam class. We are happy to have His Grace Vishnugada Prabhu with us. Hare Krishna Prabhu, Vanchakraptibhyascha, Kripasindhavebhya, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Haribol. And today we'll be discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 18, verse 21. And the chapter is entitled Maharaj Parikshit cursed by the Brahmin boy. And we are in the middle of the discussion where the sages are asking Sri Sutta Goswami to speak the glories of the Lord. And Sri Sutta Goswami is starting to get into the glories of the Lord by starting to glorify the name of the Lord and the position of the Lord. So without further delay, we will start the class. And Prabhu, it's all yours. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari.
Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari.
Jashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana.
Jashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana.
Jamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari.
Jamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari.
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jai Radha. Okay. Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jai
Jaya Madhava
Madhava
Kunja
Kunjari
Bihari.
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhans Parivrajaka Stottara Rashi Srimad Divine Grace. A.C. Bhakti Vedant Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai
Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai.
Jai
ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai
Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai.
Jai
प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय।
Jai
राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरी गोवर्धन की जय।
Jai
वृंदावन धाम की जय।
Jai
नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय।
Jai
गंगा माई की जय।
Jai
जमुना माई की जय।
Jai
श्री देवी की जय।
Jai
भक्ति देवी की जय।
Jai
समवेता भक्त वृंद की जय।
Jai
गौर प्रेमानंदे।
Hari Hari Bol
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna
All glory to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Hari Hari Bol. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisheshunyavadi Paschati Dishatarine. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 18th chapter, 21st verse. Atapiyat padanaka vashishtang jagadvarincho paritahanambha shesham punatyan yatamo mukundat ko namaloke bhagavat pradartha. Atapiyat padanaka vashishtang Jagadvirincho Paritarhandambha Shesham Punatyan Yatamo Mukundat Konamaloke Bhagavat Padartha Atapi Yat Padanaka Vrishistang Jagadvirincho Paritarhandambha Shesham Punatyan Yatamo Mukundat Ko Namaloke Bhagavat Pradartha.
Atapiyat paranakavara sistam Jagat virincho pahritahandam Vam Shisham punatyanyatamo mukundat O namaruke bhagavat padartha.
Atapiyat Padanaka Vashistam Jagad Virincho Prahritar Hanamba Shesham Punyadyan Yatamo Mukundat Konama Loke Bhagavat Padartha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Atha api yat padanakh avrishashtam jagat virincha upaharta arhanambaha saisham punati anyantamaha mukundat kaha naam loke bhagavat padartha.
Oh, you're chanting from the Sanskrit lines, not the Devanagari lines.
Yes, Prabhu, that makes it easy for me.
Anybody else? Ata, therefore, api, certainly, yat, whose, padanaka, nails of the feet, of a shishtang, emanating, jagat, the whole universe, varincha, Brahmaji Upahrita collected Arhan worship Ambha water Sa along with Isham Lord Shiva Unati purifies Anyatama. Who else? Mukundat, besides the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna. Ka, who? Nama, name. Loke, within the world. Bhagavat, Supreme Lord. Pada, position. Artha, worth. Translation. Who can be worthy of the name of the Supreme Lord but the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna? Brahmaji collected the water emanating from the nails of his feet in order to award it to Lord Shiva as a worshipful welcome. This water, the Ganges, is purifying the whole universe, including Lord Shiva. Purport. The conception of many gods in the Vedic literature by the ignorant is completely wrong. The Lord is one without a second, but he expands himself in many ways, and this is confirmed in the Vedas. Such expansions of the Lord are limitless, but some of them are the living entities. The living entities are not as powerful as the Lord's plenary expansions, and therefore there are two different types of expansions. Lord Brahma is generally one of the living entities, and Lord Shiva is the medium between the Lord and the living entities. In other words, even demigods like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, who are the chief among all demigods, are never equal to or greater than Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, and all powerful demigods like Lord Brahma and Shiva are engaged in the worship of Vishnu or Lord Krishna. Therefore, who can be more powerful than Mukunda, Lord Krishna, to be factually called the Supreme Personality of Godhead? The goddess of fortune, Lakshmiji, Lord Brahma, and Lord Shiva are not independently powerful. They are powerful as expansions of the Supreme Lord. And all of them are engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, and so also are the living entities. There are 4 sects of worshipful devotees of the Lord, and the chief amongst them are the Brahma Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, and Sri Sampradaya, descending directly from Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, respectively. Besides the above-mentioned 3 Sampradayas, there is the Kumar Sampradaya, descending from Sanat Kumar. All of the 4 original Sampradayas are still scrupulously engaged in the transcendental service of the Lord up to date. And they all declare that Lord Krishna, Mukunda, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and no other personality is equal to him or greater than him. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Nama Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Shayam Rupakada Mahyam Dadati Shapandantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaur Bhaktabinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. before speaking to all of you, I'd like to ask permission and blessings from all the devotees, and particularly those who are senior by age and or advancement in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So let's take a look at the Sanskrit, if we could, on this verse. There, look, up a little more. Yeah. So we have in this first line, ata, therefore, and pada naka, the nails of the feet. There's different. We pray to Lord Nrsingadev. He has also nails. Namaste Narasinghaya Pralada la Hadahine Hiranyakashipu Vakshaha Shilatankala Kalaya Ito Naka Shilatanka Naka. So his Vaksha is a chest, and his chest is like Shila. Shila means a stone. And he takes his nails, not of the feet, but of the hands, and chisels the chest of Hiranyakashipu, which is like a stone, Shila, Lord Nrsingadev. We usually say that when Lord Chaitanya went to the Chandkazi's house, leading the assembly of devotees, millions of devotees doing Sankirtan, Srila Prabhupada labels that non-violent non-cooperation. Before that same tactic was used by Mohandas Gandhi, non-violent non-cooperation. Of course, it wasn't completely non-violent. Nobody was killed that we know of. Usually in other conflicts, somebody's killed, but nobody was killed in there. But there was some injury. What was that injury?
Lord Nrsingadev tore
Yes.
of Hiranyakasipu. He ripped it apart.
No. Lord Nrsingadev, and we're talking about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime.
Oh, sorry. Yes, Lord Nrsingadev. Yes, he came in the form. Chandkazi was afraid that he saw Lord Nrsingadev.
Not only he saw him, but his chest was scratched by Lord Nrsingadev.
Yes.
So there was a little bit of violence,
a
little bit of violence, and when he showed it later to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So those nails of the Lord are powerful nails. Here, the nails of the feet are described, avashishtam, emanating from the the whole universe. Virinche is another name for Brahma. Upahritam, collected. Ambha, with a B-H-A-H. So, another word for lotus is ambuja. You know that? Ambuja, coming from the water. Yeah. Isham, Lord Shiva. Mukundat. Mukunda is a name for Krishna. Usually, there's two meanings of Mukunda. One meaning is that he gives liberation, mukti. And another meaning is that his face, mukha, is as beautiful as the lotus, as the kunda flower. Yeah. So here, Sutta Goswami is saying that nobody's qualified to be called really Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, except Lord Krishna. We know that sometimes people, other individuals within the universe are sometimes addressed as Bhagavan. Do you have any examples of that?
Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, people.
I don't remember any time Lord Brahma was, but it's certainly possible. When usually sometimes Nadad Muni is described as Bhagavan. And we just passed the Govardhan Puja a week ago, right? And Nanda Maharaj addressed Indra as Bhagavan. Yeah, that's Indra. So sometimes the word Bhagavan is used to describe any powerful person, as you mentioned. But really, to be really specific, if you really want to get down to the specifics, it's really only applicable, according to Sutta Goswami here, to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. Because nobody is greater than or equal to him. Bhagavan. It's similar to the idea of, the word Atma. And according to context, Atma can mean various things like the body, the mind, etc. But really the Atma, true meaning of Atma is the soul. That's the real self, the self. So similarly, the real meaning, the real understanding of Bhagavan is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, full in 6 opulences, as enumerated by the father of Srila Vyasadeva, Parashar Muni. Aishvaryasya samagrasya viryasya yashashashya jnana vairagyayaschapi. These different wealth, strength, fame, knowledge, beauty, and renunciation. That person who has all of those qualities to the fullest extent, more than anyone else, that's Bhagavan. And Bhagavan, Mukunda, is that same Bhagavan. So let's look up a little bit. Let's look at the purport if we can. Yeah. There's a very interesting first statement Srila Prabhupada makes in the purport. The conception of many gods in the Vedic literature by the ignorant is completely wrong. Pow! That's a pretty shocking, straightforward statement. So how are we supposed to take that? In the Hindu pantheon, there are various gods. Ganesh, Surya, Indra, Durga, etc. So the idea that the idea here is that those gods are supreme, or the most beyond anyone else. That's completely wrong. That God has a competitor, a real competitor. That's mistaken. And that idea is unfortunately promulgated by many people who consider themselves followers of the Vedas. But usually, when it really comes down to it, they haven't read the Vedic literatures, particularly Bhagavad Gita. So they have some imagined idea of there being many different gods, but the real supreme is not the form of those various gods, whether it be Krishna or Brahma or Shiva or Durga, but the impersonal energy that's within. So those are called Mayavadis. Sometimes they're called Pashandis or offenders. So this idea is being repudiated here by Sutta Goswami by saying that the Lord is one without a second. So you know that the word one without a second, there's a Sanskrit word for that, which you might know. Dear Krishna Prabhu, are you at work? Yeah, he must be.
Hare
Please
Krishna.
go, Prabhu.
Ashamurdva, something?
Yes. Asamurdva.
Ashamurdva. Okay.
So sama means equal. And asama means not equal. Sama is equal, and asama means not equal. And urdhva means above. Urdhva, not equal nor above. No one is equal to or above, greater than Lord Krishna. Therefore, his name, another name for Lord Krishna, is Asamurdva. And he displayed that asamurdva in his activities on this planet while he and in other planets while he was his pastimes were going on 5,000 years ago. And this also mentions here in the purport that the Lord expands himself in various ways. The Katha Upanishad says, Nityo Nityanam, Chetanas Chetananam. There's one supreme eternal, Nityo, one, Nityanam, and there's many subordinate eternals. Chetanas, there's one supreme consciousness, and there are many Chetananam, subordinate consciousnesses. Is that a word? Consciousnesses? I don't know. Many subordinate consciousnesses. Eko bahunam jo bidadhati kaman. And that one supreme eternal is a supreme consciousness is supplying all the necessities for all of the subordinates. And there's different kinds of expansions or eternals. The one supreme eternal expands as both swangsha and vibhinansha, his plenary expansions and his separated expansions, like us, the living entities. So Srila Prabhupada says, it's not just, very mundane, boring. No, there's many different kinds of expansions. Parasya Shaktir Vividai Vishuyate Swabhaviki Jnana Bala Kriyacha. He expands in many different ways, and just by his wish, everything is taking place. And so there's the plenary expansions like Balaram, Narayan, Karanarakshay or Mahavishnu, Garbhadakshay Vishnu, Kshirodakshay Vishnu, like the Paramatma. There are the qualitative expansions like the demigods, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesha, and the living entities expansions. There are the Shakti Tattva expansions like Srimati Radharani and the queens of Dvaraka and Lakshmi and etc. So all these different varieties of living entities, but the point made here is that all of them, every single one of them, is dependent on and an emanation from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. Therefore, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, as you know, Mata Parataram Nanya Kinchidasti Dhananjaya Mai Sarvamidam Pravatam Sutre Manigana Iva. He says, there is no truth superior to me. And everything, money is a little jewel or like pearls. So just like jewels or pearls are strung in a thread, everything is resting upon me. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante ma buddha bhava samandita. So he says again in 10th chapter, I am the source of all emanations, everything. Everything emanates from me. The wise who know this perfectly engage in my service and worship me with all their hearts. Na me vidu suraganaya prabhavam na maharishaya aham adihi devanam. He says in the beginning of the 10th chapter, neither the suragana, means the demigods, nor the great sages know me. In fact, I am the source of all the demigods and sages. So again and again we find in the Vedic literature that Lord Krishna is one without a second, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, known as equal to or greater than him. Again and again it's described. Even the first, after we hear in Vedanta Sutta, Atato Brahma Jigyasa, then Janma Jasya Yataha. Lord God, that Brahman is that person from whom everything else is coming. So along with the idea of Krishna being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, according to the Vedic literature, according to Sutta Goswami here, he says so himself in the Bhagavad Gita. Also his devotees like Sutta Goswami, like Narad, like Arjun, they all declare the same thing. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead without a second. So along with that, there's the idea of he's not conquerable. He can't be defeated by anybody. And that name goes along with Ajita, not conquerable, Ajita Krishna. So even though, people in general, they like to identify with a winner, whether it's by sports, different kinds of sports, they want to identify with a team that wins all the time, isn't it? And, there was a boxer by the name of Muhammad Ali. And he was well known because he practically won almost every fight, not all fights, but almost every fight. And therefore he declared he was the greatest. Isn't it? Isn't that he declared he was the greatest? Yeah. But eventually he got Parkinson's disease and was defeated. So in this world, there's nobody challenging God. In some religions, you have, a challenge of God either from the devil or some other being, but no one really can be a real challenger of God because he's the source of all those other beings. Sometimes we see in Krishna's pastimes that it seems like there's some kind of competition between Krishna and various other beings, demons, asuras, etc. For example, when Lord Boar was fighting with Hiranyaksha, you remember this? So they were fighting, and after a while, Hiranyaksha knocked out the club from Lord Vishnu's hand, Lord Boar's hand. You remember? And all the demigods were watching this. Oh my God, what's going on? There was, yeah. But then, of course, he picked it up, and when then he defeated Hiranyaksha without too much difficulty. Later, inspiring Hiranyaksha's brother, Hiranyakashipu, to want to get revenge, so much so that he decided he was going to cut off the head of Lord Vishnu and drink his blood in his revenge. You know that? Anyway. And when Lord Krishna was just a little young boy, 6 years old or something, he fought with the Kaliya serpent. And for some time, he was dragged under the water by the Kaliya serpent. And the residents of Vrindavan who had come, who were watching on the bank of the Jamuna, they were anxious. Oh, this he's gone under the water. Maybe he's been killed by Kaliya. But then, after not too long a time, Kaliya resurfaced with Krishna dancing on his many hundreds of hoods, finally resulting in Kaliya submitting to Lord Krishna and accepting his sovereignty. There was the encounter with Jarasandha. Jarasandha was inimical to Lord Krishna. One reason he was inimical to Lord Krishna was because his son-in-law, Kamsa, had been killed by Krishna. So Jarasandha's daughters, who were wives of Kamsa, became widows. So Jarasandha became a sworn enemy of Krishna, so much so that he repeatedly attacked Lord Krishna's residence at that time was Mathura with his armies, many Akshohini armies. And Jarasandha fought with Lord Krishna with Lord Balaram. They defeated and wiped out his armies 16 times. But then, interestingly, the 17th time when Jarasandha raised his armies and attacked Mathura, Lord Krishna ran away from the battlefield. So this, for those who don't have information coming from the disciplic succession and a bona fide spiritual master, they become bewildered by this. Oh, Krishna's become Ranachor, some kind of coward. He's running away. Nobody thinks, oh, he already defeated Jarasandha 16 times. And Jarasandha himself doesn't recognize that. He thinks, Krishna's he just got defeated 16 times, but still he thinks this is the nature of material intoxication. But anyway, but Lord Krishna had his purpose, because simultaneously Kalyavana had attacked at the same time as Jarasandha. And Kalyavana, being from a Yavana background, Yavana means meat eater. Lord Krishna didn't want to actually directly engage him. So he ran from the battlefield, and Kalyavana ran after him. And Lord Krishna went into a cave, and Kalyavana ran into the cave after him. And then he found a body. Kalyavana found a body lying down. Apparently he thought, oh, this must be Krishna trying to hide. And he kicked the body. But actually it wasn't Krishna there. It was Muchukunda. And Muchukunda had been given a benediction by the demigods that he could sleep undisturbed, and anybody who disturbed his sleep, he could kill with his glance. So that's what happened. Kalyavana was destroyed by the arrangement of Krishna running from the battlefield, and then he took the opportunity to marry Srimati Rukmini Devi. So sometimes it appears that Lord Krishna is defeated by these opposing elements, but in reality, he always comes out successfully in the end, no question about it. Sometimes when he was fighting with Shalva at one point was being harassed by Krishna's arrows, so he decided to make some illusion, and he created a false Vasudeva, Krishna's father, and then in the presence of Lord Krishna, cut off Vasudeva's head. So Krishna, witnessing what looked like his father's head being cut off, momentarily he became disturbed. But then in the next moment, he rallied and he defeated Shalva in his airplane. So again and again, we see that Krishna is always victorious. Therefore, you say, Jai, Jai Shri Krishna. He's the controller of Brahma, of Shiva, of all the different demigods, and all different kinds of living entities. In this instance here, there's the discussion of Brahma collecting the water that washed Krishna's nails, Padanaka, and offered it to Lord Shiva as an offering of worship. And what's that called? What is that? What is that water that's washed his nails?
Washed his nails.
That's Charanamrita, isn't it?
I was going to say, but I thought that was going to be the wrong answer, Prabhu.
Charanamrita.
Yes.
Charanamrita. So, I mean, this is during the pastime of Lord Vamandev. I don't know where that's described exactly, this particular thing where Lord Brahma collects it. Is that, I looked, I couldn't find it. Maybe it's there somewhere in the Srimad Bhagavatam, but maybe some other Purana. Maybe you know. But that water washed of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna is sanctified because Lord Krishna is pure. He's so pure. Not only is he pure himself, but anybody who comes in contact with him becomes purified. He's like the sun. The sun can purify even dirty places, and the sun itself doesn't become contaminated. People with a poor fund of knowledge, sometimes they look at the pastimes of Krishna like him running away from the battlefield or dancing with others' wives in the rasa dance, and they take it that Krishna is somehow impure. But he's pavitram. He's always pure. So much so that even great brahmacharis like Shukadeva Goswami, great sages, Narad, they worship Lord Krishna, and they're purified by hearing and understanding his qualities and pastimes. So this is quite interesting. So, although we say that Krishna is Ajita, at the same time, he is sometimes Jita, means he's sometimes conquered. He's Jita, but Ajita, but sometimes Jita. He's conquered, not just by anybody, not by demons, but he's sometimes conquered by his intimate devotees. So, for example, sometimes when playing with the cowherd boys, they would wrestle. And sometimes Krishna would lose, even though he's Ajita. So out of love, he sometimes allows himself to be defeated by his devotees. And so in the punishment for losing, or the consequences of losing in those circumstances, wrestling match, was that the loser would have to carry the winner on their back. So Krishna had to carry Sridham on his back because he lost. Any other examples of Krishna losing, being controlled, or losing to his devotees?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Now,
Yes.
I heard when Lord went to Mathura and killed the Chanur and Mustik in the same arena, when Madhumangal defeated the Lord, saying that you are our Sakha and we can defeat you. That's what
Really?
I heard. Yeah.
Where did you see it? Where did you read that one?
I have to find the source, Prabhu.
Yes.
I heard from the Guru Maharaj.
I believe you, but I just, there's just, I'd like to know.
Yeah.
And here we see dear Krishna Prabhu says, Yashoda Damodar. Yeah. This is the month of Kartik. We're chanting the Damodar Ashtakam. So Mother Yashoda, she wanted to punish Krishna for stealing the butter, breaking the pots, giving it to the monkeys. So she ran after him, even though great yogis in meditation, Fantastico Tishatavat Sampragamyo Vayoratapi Manaso Muni Pungavanam. They travel on the airship of the mind, which is very fast, because you can go from here to thousands of miles in a moment. So they're traveling on the airship of the mind, but they cannot even approach the tip of the toe of Govinda. But Mother Yashoda, chasing Krishna with a stick. Now, interesting. She just shows the stick. She didn't use the stick. Prabhupada said. Anyway, she caught Lord Krishna and then attempted to bind him. But she couldn't bind him because all the ropes in the house wouldn't go around his belly, udara. Finally, Krishna agreed, okay, because you're trying to do this, you're trying to be service of my mother. You're very good at that. Okay, I'll be bound by you. So these are examples that even though Krishna is Ajita and is the Lord of all demigods, the Supreme Ishvara, Bhoktaram Jagatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suhridam Sarvabhutanam Gyatva Mam Shantam Richtiti, is the Lord of everything, the enjoyer of all sacrifices, the best friend of all living entities. Sometimes, when he's very pleased with his devotees, he allows them to conquer him, to defeat him, in their service to him, not otherwise. So these things are here. Well, Srila Prabhupada then talks about the four sampradayas: Rudra Sampradaya, Sri Sampradaya. Interesting. He says that the chief among the four sampradayas, as chief amongst them, is the Brahma Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, and Sri Sampradaya. So he mentions the Brahma Sampradaya first. I don't know if that has any significance, but then he says Rudra Sampradaya and Sri Sampradaya. The Brahma Sampradaya is, in this Kali Yuga, is represented by Madhvacharya, and Madhvacharya down to Gaudiya, Lord Chaitanya, Brahma Madhva Gaudiya is our line. There's others who the Madhvacharya has other lines, but with the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya. The Rudra Sampradaya, whose original proponent in the Kali Yuga was Vishnu Swami, who appeared about 500 years before Jesus Christ, a little more than that, Vishnu Swami. And more recently, the Vallabhacharya was proponent from the Rudra Sampradaya. Sri Sampradaya, most important teacher in that Sampradaya, was Ramanujacharya, who was an expansion of Lakshman or Nityananda Prabhu. And then we have the Kumar Sampradaya. Srila Prabhupada mentions the Kumar Sampradaya here after the other three, perhaps because in the Kumar Sampradaya, the original Kali Yuga head Acharya was Nimbarka Shami, but by the time of Lord Chaitanya, the Kumar Sampradaya had practically been forgotten. In fact, Rupa Goswami and all the other Goswamis who wrote literature, they refer to writings of the Sri Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, and Brahma Sampradaya, but not of the Kumar Sampradaya. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that seems to indicate that at the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Kumar Sampradaya was practically not known, but was revived by Keshav Kashmiri, who became a follower of Lord Chaitanya. So that's very interesting. So Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Ashamurdha. And another reference of he can't be conquered, Ajita, is that just by our mental speculation or mental gymnastics, we can't figure out Krishna. We can't figure out God. If you could conquer him, understand him just by mental gymnastics or speculation, that would be able to conquer him. But he's not conquerable by the mental speculators. Bahunam janmanamante jnanavampam prapadyate. Those people who look for understanding, if they surrender to Krishna, then they can understand by his mercy. When Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was challenging that, Lord Chaitanya can't be Krishna, can't be an incarnation of Krishna. There was a discussion between he and his disciple students and Gopinath Acharya. So he was quoting all these different shlokas. And then Gopinath Acharya said, Atapi te deva padabhuja dvayam prashadu deshan grihita eva hi janati tatvam bhagavan mahimno. He said, if you go on speculating for thousands and thousands of years, you'll never understand God. How can you understand God? Prashadu leshan. You have to get prashadu leshan means a drop of mercy. You get a drop of mercy from the Lord himself, and then you can understand. So this our effort of reading Srimad Bhagavatam and studying Srimad Bhagavatam and trying to understand it under the order of our guru, our spiritual masters, Srila Prabhupada, the disciplic succession, and your personal spiritual master, is an effort to get that little drop of mercy from Lord Krishna so we can understand. Our effort to chant the holy names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, is a similar effort to somehow get the mercy of Krishna so we can appreciate and understand Krishna. And as said, as we understand, somebody who actually understands Krishna, they worship him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead with all their hearts. Bhuta Bhava Samanvita. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu Sir, for such a wonderful class and so nice points. We want to ask the devotees, if you have any questions, any comments, please do unmute yourself. I believe many of us are not working today. It's a holiday.
That's right. It's Thanksgiving. I forgot.
It's okay. Prabhu, even I forgot until I found out from my kids making noise upstairs. I had no idea. So I completely forgot too. But okay, I think there is a question here from Mother Geeta. Hare Krishna, Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhu, can you please explain what does it mean Lord Shiva is the medium between the Lord and the living entities? Thank you.
Okay, great. Yeah, I would meant to talk about that. That's nicely said. Medium, because the living entities, us living entities, we're parts and parcels of the Lord. Vibhinangsha, and so at best we have 78% of the qualities in minute quantity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord Shiva, he's a special category. There's different categories. He's a special category. And Lord Brahma describes that in the Brahma Samhita. Kshiram yata dadhivikara vishesha yogat sanjayate nihita tapritagasti heto yashambutama pitatasamupaiti karyat govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. He describes there that Lord Shiva is like milk that's been turned into yogurt. So like you cook. So with milk, you can make many things, but you can't make all those things with yogurt. It's in between. Yeah. So Lord Shiva, he's not a he's not a living entity like us, but he's also not like Vishnu, like Krishna. He's in between. He's got 85% of the transcendental qualities in full. We at best have 78. Even Lord Brahma, when he's a living entity like us, he is at best 78%, but Lord Shiva has more. So he's worshipable in that sense as a particular expansion of Krishna, like milk that's been turned into yogurt in between living entities and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu, and thank you, Mother Gita, for asking a powerful question. Mother Gita always asks the powerful questions, and we all learn from it. Thank you so much, Mother. Anyone else would like to have a question? Like I said, I'm pretty sure that we are all home. Yeah. We got a holiday off, so
one thing is that because Lord Shiva is greater than the living entities, so he can be appreciated in that way, but still he's subordinate to Lord Krishna. He's certainly greater than living entities, regular us, but still subordinate to Lord Krishna. So we see that in the Ravana, when Ravana was fighting with Ram. So Ravana was losing. And Lord Shiva was there watching the battle. And his wife said, "Hey, look, your devotee," because Ravana had worshipped Lord Shiva. "Your devotee is losing. Come on, do something, do something. Hey, aren't you going to come to the aid of your devotee?" So what did Lord Shiva said? "What can I do? That's God. That's Ram. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I'm 85%. He's 100%. That's it. Yeah. Or at least more. Yeah." Lord Shiva and Krishna also fought when the Banasura episode happened. Banasura was a follower of Lord Shiva. He had 1,000 arms, and he wanted to find somebody who could fight with. So he eventually, he was worshiping Lord Shiva. So then, of course, Krishna didn't send he didn't fight directly, but they had representatives, one side, the other side, Shiva Jvara and Narayana Jvara. Shiva Jvara, fighting for Lord Shiva, was incredible heat, and Narayana Jvara was incredible cold. Who won?
Narayan one.
Yeah, keep the scorecard, right? We saw the scorecard. Narayan won. Narayana Jvara won. And Lord Shiva's devotee was defeated, yeah.
Mm.
Thank you, Prabhu. Any other questions from devotees? Prabhu, I have a question, and this was discussed, this was asked actually in one of the classes, and I don't know if I got the answer clear. From my limited understanding, Prabhu, the reason the demigods are there is they act as servants of the Lord. Is that correct, Prabhu? Or are they also meant?
Yes.
Right. That's what I thought. And the question in this class came up as if the demigods are acting as servants of the Lord, like how we have cabinet ministers for the prime minister and so forth. How did this whole demigod worshiping start? Like, where did it come from? Or is it that the demigod said, "No, come worship me"? Or did the living entities create that whole demigod worship? How did it all come into play, Prabhu?
It's in the Vedas. And because the Vedas are meant for all kinds of persons, therefore allowance is made for demigod worship for people who are materially motivated. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a long list of recommendations. If you want this, worship this demigod. If you want this, yeah. And it's all started with kama, 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 kama. Then at the end it says, akama sarva kamova moksha kama udaradi tibrena bhakti yogina yajeta paramam purush. That if whether you have no desire, akama, sarva kama, or you're full of desire, sarva kamova, moksha kama, you want mukti, a smart person, udaradhi, just like in Lord Chaitanya said, sumedhasa, udaradhi, a smart person will worship Lord Krishna, because all the benefits that the demigods can give you are all coming from Krishna anyway. They can't be given without the sanction of Krishna. So whatever your desire is, the best smart person will worship Krishna. So, but because people are materially motivated, they might take the demigod worship, and so for them they're allowed to do that. Eventually, though, like I said, a smart person will realize, why should I worship this demigod when the actual benefactor or sanctioner of all benedictions is Krishna himself. So Srila Prabhupada was asked by one gentleman in South India, said, well, can't I have bhakti for Shiva? And what do you think Srila Prabhupada said? He said, yes. He said, yes. But it's very rare, very rare. He said, if someone, usually you see someone going into a liquor shop, why are they going? Yeah. Now somebody might, you might find a, an inspector or something, but most of the time. So most of the time, people are going to the demigods because of kama. They want something. What something? Yeah. Therefore, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, kama istaista hritigana prapadyante anya devata. People are motivated by kama, they go to the demigod. So they want to eat meat? Okay, worship Durga. You want to eat meat? Worship Durga. Actually, Durga doesn't eat the meat that they offer, but her associates, her pishachas, her witches and hobgoblins, they eat the meat. So you want to eat meat, you do this. But beyond that, at the same time that the Vedas say that, ultimately they say, Ararananam Sarvesham Vishnu Ararana Param. Lord Shiva says, of all kinds of worship, worship of Lord Vishnu is best. There's no better. So, it's allowed, but not recommended.
Prabhu,
It's better than just being a materialist person, just trying to work hard to be selfish and all that stuff. But that
Prabhu,
makes sense?
yeah, absolutely. Yes, absolutely makes sense, Prabhu. Then I have another question, Prabhu. If it's in the Shastra that that people can worship the demigods to get this, to get that, and knowing that it is sanctioned by the Lord through the demigods to give it to the bhakta, lack of a better word, then what are the chances of the follower saying, well, if it's sanctioned by the Lord, then why should I give up demigod worshipping? They're just gonna get it sanctioned by the Lord anyway.
Because Krishna says so. Krishna says to give it up. Sarva dharman parityajya. Give up all of the dharmas. Mam ekam sharanam braja. And surrender to me. When his father and the cowherd men were about to worship Indra, Krishna didn't want it. He stopped it. He doesn't want his people. He doesn't want it. That's not really his desire. His real desire is, and it's not for his benefit, but it's for our benefit. You really want demigod worship will result in you going to the planet of the demigod, but not, and then you'll come back to this material, level. So if you want to go to the planet of the demigod and stay within this material world, okay, you can. But better than that, Krishna says, Parastasmatu bhavonyo vyakto vyaktat sanatanam. My place, there's no destruction. When you go there, you never have to come back.
Thank you, Prabhu. It definitely helped me when I'll be asked the same question, I know what to answer. Thank you so much. That was really, really helpful, Prabhu. Thank you. Any other questions from devotees? Any other topics? Any other, doubts that you have? Sorry, it took us so much time. I just had to ask that question when I saw that the purport. If there isn't, I would like to thank Vishnugada Prabhu for such a wonderful class, and I'm so glad that we could go past 9 o'clock a little bit, being a holiday, Prabhu. Thank you so much for giving me time. And we thank Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Dandat pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.